Hello students, welcome to our channel Physics class. Today we'll study an important formula which is known as resonance. So first of all, we should know what is resonance. When the system is driven by an energy source at a frequency near to the natural frequency of the system, then the amplitude of oscillations becomes larger and this is called system's natural frequency, and this phenomena is known as resonance. So this phenomenon is called resonance. If we take any LCR circuit, that means we are having any alternating current or alternating voltage source, and in the circuit we have one inductance, one capacitor, we have one inductor, one capacitor and one resistor. Then this circuit we call as LCR circuit. And the maximum amplitude of current is given as the ratio of maximum voltage to impedance, and this impedance means it includes the resistor, it includes the inductive resistance and the capacitive resistance. And the inductance is given with the formula under root of R square plus XE plus XC minus XL whole square. So this is the resistor, this is the capacitive resistor and this is the inductive resistance. So this is how we write on the current. This is simply from the Ohm's law, I is equal to V upon R. So this is the maximum amplitude of current and this is the maximum amplitude of the corresponding voltage, and this is impedance. That means it is the combination of the normal resistance, the capacitive resistance and the inductive resistance. And R we know simply is the value of resistance that is connected, and the capacitive resistance is given with 1 upon omega C. Omega is the angular frequency and C is the capacitance, and XL is given as, that is the inductive resistance, is given as omega L. Here again omega is angular frequency and L is the inductance. So we take any particular frequency, say for example at any frequency omega naught. So at any frequency this capacitive resistance and inductive resistance becomes same. So if these two become same, that means this XC minus XL will be 0 because XC is equal to XL. So our impedance becomes R only. So that is the minimum value of the impedance. So if we calculate Z in this condition when XC is equal to XL, then Z is equal to under root of R square, that means R. So our impedance reduces to simple resistance. And since we have taken the condition that XC is equal to XL, so put the value of XC, this is 1 upon omega naught C, because we are considering at any particular frequency omega naught, and this is equal to omega naught L. So these two are same. So if we do the cross multiplication, then we will have that omega naught square is equal to 1 upon LC, or omega naught is equal to 1 upon under root of LC. So as we can see that if we are taking any particular frequency omega naught, then XC is equal to XL we have considered, then the resistance is minimum. So if the resistance is minimum, the value of Z is minimum. So from this formula, the value of current is maximum, because if this Z is equal to R only, it is having the minimum value. So it is inversely proportional to the resistance or impedance. That means the current will have the maximum value. So this particular frequency, if we consider as resonance frequency, so we can say that at resonance frequency omega naught, Z is minimum and current I is maximum, because I is equal to Vm upon R only. So we can say that the current is maximum. So this is simply give us the condition of the resonance. So say for example, if you want to draw a graph between omega and the current, that is if you want to plot a graph between the angular frequency omega and the current I. So we can take it like this. So on horizontal axis we can take the angular frequency omega, and here on the y-axis we can take the maximum amplitude of the current. This is in ampere. So say for this frequency omega, somewhere here we are having, say at this point we are having the resonance frequency omega naught. So this whole axis is omega, and at this particular point we are having this resonance frequency. So in the case first, we are having, for impedance we are having resistance is equal to 100 ohm, inductance is 1 millihenry, and capacitance is 1 nanofarad. But now in the case 2, when the resistance is say 200 ohm, then if we plot the graph, so what we get is like this. So this is almost, the amplitude of current is twice of the case second in case 1. So this is how we can show the resonance. Now, so we know what is the condition of resonance and what is the application of resonance. So let us study about what are the application of resonance. So as we have just studied, that resonance is the phenomena where the system frequency becomes near to its natural frequency, then the amplitude of oscillation becomes very large, and this, where the amplitude becomes large, we consider as the natural frequency, and when the frequency which is used is equal to the natural frequency and the amplitude is large, we call this phenomena as resonance. So how this helps? For example, in our daily life, whenever we tune our radio at a particular frequency, or we tune our television set at a particular frequency, then in tuning, what we do, we vary the capacitance of the capacitor in the tuning circuit. So the value of C, the value of capacitance is varying whenever we are tuning the radio or the television set, such that the resonance frequency of the circuit becomes nearly equal to the frequency of received radio signals. Because we know that either we are using our radio signals, our FM, or if we are tuning our television, then all these signals are communicated through radio waves. So we have to, if you want to get that particular channel, if you want to tune it to a particular frequency, then we have to match our tuning frequency equal to the natural frequency of that particular radio wave or the radio signals. So we have to vary the capacitance such that the frequency, resonance frequency of the circuit becomes equal to the frequency of received radio signals. So the amplitude of current with the frequency of signal of the particular radio station in the current is maximum. The tuning mechanism, so we can say that the tuning mechanism in our radio or television sets are the practical examples of resonance. So that simply means that in resonance we have to match the frequency with the natural frequency of that particular system. But here you have to remember one thing, always mind this thing, that we talk about the resonance condition in any of the circuit only when L and C are present, only when inductor and capacitor are present. So both of them should be present. That is a condition for the condition of resonance. So if you are having any circuit which have a resistor or capacitor only, or it may have a resistor or inductor only, so this individual system or this individual system cannot show this condition of resonance. So whenever you are talking about the resonance in a circuit, then in that circuit the inductor and the capacitance should be necessarily present. So L and C should be present in the circuit to achieve the condition of resonance. So always make it a rule that whenever you are in a circuit, if you are talking about resonance, then L component and C component should be present. The next thing we talk about is the sharpness of resonance. So to study about the sharpness of any resonance circuit, we know that in a circuit L and C component should be there. So we take simply a circuit where L is present, C is present, and R is present. That means we are considering simply any of the LCR circuit. So in the LCR circuit, we know that the current is given by, this is the maximum amplitude of the current, this is given by Vm upon Z, and Z is the impedance, which is given as under root of R square plus XC capacitive resistance minus XL inductive resistance whole square. So this is the formula for the current in any of the LCR circuit. And this current is maximum at the frequency omega is equal to omega naught. That is the condition of resonance. So we have to make the frequency equal to the resonance frequency if we want the current to be maximum, because in that condition we have only resistance. This vector becomes 0, Xc is equal to XL. So the resistance is minimum and the current is maximum at omega is equal to omega naught. and omega naught is given by the formula 1 upon under root LC we have just derived. So we have to keep in mind these two things, that whenever the current is maximum, it is the condition of resonance, omega is equal to omega naught, and omega naught is equal to 1 upon under root LC. And what is the maximum amount of current? This maximum will be equal to Vm upon R, because all other components of impedance becomes 0. At any other frequency where omega is not equal to omega naught, that means at any frequency which is not the frequency, which is not the resonance frequency, then the current is always less than the maximum value. So we consider any value of omega or the frequency. So at any value of omega for which the current amplitude is 1 upon under root 2 times of the maximum current. Because at omega is equal to omega naught, we are having the maximum current Vm upon R. So we are considering that value for which this amplitude is 1 upon under root 2 times of the maximum. So why we are considering this value only? Because if it is like this, then the power dissipated. You know that the power dissipated is given by, or the power given out is given by P is equal to IV. So if you consider this, or P is equal to I square R also you can write down. So if the current is 1 upon under root 2 times, that means the power dissipated by the circuit will become half. So this is the reason why we take only those values for which the current becomes 1 upon under root 2 times. So if the current becomes 1 upon under root 2 times, then the power will become half of the maximum value. So there are two such values for which the current becomes 1 upon under root 2 times. So we can call these two values are as omega 1 and omega 2. So omega 1 is resonance frequency plus small amount of frequency, and omega 2 is again resonance frequency minus this delta omega, that is a small frequency. Because as you can see, as we have just drawn the graph, so there you could see that here if we are having omega and here we are having I, so at omega naught the graph was like this somewhat. So this is I maximum. So if you take 1 upon under root 2 of the maximum, say at this point it is 1 upon under root 2 of the maximum current. So similarly at this point also this will be 1 upon under root 2 of the maximum current. So these are the 2 points. So this we can say, so that at these 2 points, this we can call as omega 1, this point we can call as omega 1, and this frequency we can call as omega 2, because this frequency is always omega naught. So omega 1, so this we can call as delta omega, and this is also delta omega, because these 2 points are situated at the same distance from omega naught. So omega 1 we can call as omega naught plus delta omega. That means we have to add some frequency to the resonance frequency. And omega 2 is, that means we have to subtract the same delta omega from the resonance frequency. So this is how we get 2 points omega 1 and omega 2 at the graph, and these two frequency at the points where the current become 1 upon under root 2 of the maximum value, and here the power dissipated will become half of the maximum value. And if you take the difference between these 2 points, the difference between omega 1 and omega 2. So take the difference, 2 omega 1 minus omega 2. So what you will have? Omega naught plus delta omega minus omega naught plus delta omega. So you will have this as 2 delta omega. So we take the difference between those 2 points, then it is 2 delta omega. This 2 delta omega is called the bandwidth of the circuit. So if we zoom into this point, if we zoom into this graph, then you can see that here we are having omega at this. So if we zoom into this graph, then on the x-axis we are having the frequency omega, and y-axis we are having the current. So at the particular resonance frequency omega naught, the current is maximum, I max. And from here we can calculate 1 upon under root 2 times of the maximum value. So we get these 2 points. Here also it is 1 upon under root 2 of the maximum value. Similarly here also it will be 1 upon under root 2 of the maximum value. So if we project these 2 points on the omega axis, then we have 2 points omega 1 and omega 2. So this omega 1 and omega 2 are the frequency at which the current is 1 upon under root 2 times of the maximum values. So that is why we have written omega 1 as omega naught plus delta omega, and omega 2 will be resonance frequency omega naught minus delta omega. So these are the 2 points, and the difference between these 2 points, if you go from this point omega 2 to omega 1, or if you go from omega 1 to omega 2, that means the distance between these 2 points, this is known as the bandwidth, because if you go from here to here, so this is point 1, this is point 2, and this is point 3. So if you travel from 1 to 2, then you have traveled delta omega. Again, if you travel from 2 to 3, you again travel delta omega. So finally, from this point to this point, 1 to 3, we have traveled delta omega plus delta omega, that is 2 delta omega. So omega 1 minus omega 2 is 2 delta omega, and this is called as the bandwidth of the circuit. I hope it is much clear to you now. So in a similar way, you can calculate bandwidth, you can find out the points omega 1 and omega 2, and you can easily calculate the bandwidth of the circuit. And if you have calculated the bandwidth, now you can also calculate the sharpness of resonance. Now what is the sharpness of resonance? So the sharpness of resonance is simply given by the resonance frequency omega naught upon 2 delta omega. That means if you divide the resonance frequency with the bandwidth, then it is known as the sharpness of resonance. So what we have to do, we have to take the resonance frequency. So we have to divide the resonance frequency with the bandwidth. And as you can see that the sharpness of resonance is inversely proportional to this delta omega. So if this delta omega is small, that means resonance is having the high value of sharpness, or resonance is sharper. High value means it is sharper, and if delta omega is large, because it is inversely proportional to, the sharpness is inversely proportional to delta omega. So if delta omega is large, then sharpness will have low value. That means its resonance is narrower. So that is how we can define the sharpness. Bandwidth, if you know, we can define the sharpness, and if it is sharper or narrower, that is dependent on the value of delta omega. So now we want to calculate what is the value of current at points omega 1 and omega 2. So we can say that at frequency omega 1, the current is I maximum upon root 2, that is 1 upon root 2 times of the maximum value, and Im is having the value of Vm upon R root 2. If we simply write down Im, then Im is Vm upon under root R square plus Xc minus XL whole square. That is the general value of the current. This is at any frequency. To compare these two, then this frequency or this impedance should be equal to this one. So if we compare these two, then we will have under root of R square plus Xc minus XL whole square. This is very simple. Just have a look at it. Look carefully and you will be able to solve very easily. So this impedance should be equal to this impedance. This is at any frequency and this is at frequency omega 1. So R square plus Xc minus XL whole square is equal to R root 2. So to remove the under root, we take the square. So we have on squaring we get plus Xc is 1 upon omega C minus omega L whole square is equal to, this will become 2 and this will become R square. This is equal to 2R square. So if we write down that omega is equal to omega 1, then this equation will become, here we will have omega 1 and here also we will have omega 1. So this implies 1 upon omega naught plus delta omega into C, that is the value of omega 1, because omega 1 is equal to omega naught plus delta omega, right? That is resonance frequency added to some frequency, we know this for point of omega 1, minus omega naught plus delta omega into L is equal to R square. So we can take out the square. So this implies 1 upon omega naught plus delta omega into C minus omega naught plus delta omega into L is equal to R. So if we take omega naught C as common, then this will be 1 plus delta omega upon omega naught. And this is again, if we take omega naught common, then this is 1 plus delta omega upon omega naught. Now we know that omega naught squared is equal to 1 upon LC, because omega naught is equal to 1 upon under root LC. That is the condition of resonance. If we do the square, then omega naught square is equal to 1 upon LC. So we can write on omega naught L is equal to 1 upon omega naught C by cross multiplication. So on putting in this equation, we will have 1 plus delta omega upon omega naught to the power minus 1, because it is in denominator, because it is 1 upon, so here we can write on as power minus 1, minus 1 plus delta omega upon omega naught is equal to R, and here we'll have 1 upon omega naught C may be written as omega naught L, and here also we will have omega naught L. So if we take omega naught L as common, then what is here? This is 1 plus x to the power n, so this will be 1 minus delta omega upon omega naught. If we take minus inside, then this is minus 1 minus delta omega upon omega naught is equal to R, because here we have used the binomial expansion. 1 plus x to the power n is 1 plus nx, then this is minus is already there, so omega naught L we have taken as common, so this will become minus 1 and this will become minus delta omega upon omega. So this 1 cancels out with this minus 1. So we'll have omega naught L, and if we add these two up, then this is 2 delta omega upon omega naught. This is equal to R. So omega naught cancels out, or we have delta omega is equal to R upon 2L. So now if we calculate the sharpness, we know the sharpness. If you want to remember the sharpness, then always remember resonance frequency divided with bandwidth. So this is the resonance frequency and this is bandwidth. So now this is 2 delta omega, so we can put the value from here. So this is equal to resonant frequency, then twice of delta omega is R upon 2L. So 2 cancels out, that means this is equal to omega naught L upon R. And this quantity omega naught L upon R is known as the quality factor, which is given by Q. So this Q is the quality factor of the circuit. So if you know the resonance frequency, you can calculate the sharpness, you can find out omega 1 and omega 2, and also you can calculate the quality factor. So we can say 2 delta omega is equal to omega naught upon Q. This we got from this equation, because omega naught upon 2 delta omega is equal to Q. So you can write on 2 delta omega is equal to omega naught upon Q. From here we can see that if Q is large, then the 2 delta omega will be small. That means the bandwidth will be small. And if the bandwidth is small, that means the resonance is sharper. And since we have written Q is equal to omega naught L upon R, and at resonance omega naught L is equal to 1 upon omega naught C. So at resonance the quality factor Q may also be written as 1 upon omega naught CR. So that is one more interesting thing about this quality factor of the circuit. So we have done with the sharpness, we have done with the quality factor. Now we will also do about the power in AC circuit. These are simple mathematical expression. You have to do a simple mathematics and you will get all these. Always you have to remember that what is sharpness, what is omega naught, what is bandwidth, and what is quality factor. So after the quality factor, we will do the power factor. So let us quickly go to power factor. So in order to understand the power factor, we again have to go to any of the LCR circuit, because we have to study the condition of resonance. And what is the voltage we apply there? We apply an AC voltage, that is a sinusoidally varying voltage, which is given by V is equal to Vm sin omega t. Vm is the maximum amplitude and omega is the angular frequency. Then due to this voltage, it drives the current. I is equal to Im sin omega t plus phi, because phi is the phase difference between the voltage and the current and depends on the components. and also the current is given by Vm upon Z. This is similar to the Ohm's law, I is equal to V upon R. But here instead of R only we have resistance, capacitive resistance and inductive resistance. So this we call as impedance Z. And the phase difference phi is given with tan inverse of Xc minus XL upon R. This we have done in our AC circuit. If you want to go into the detail of these lectures, I have given in the description box. You can see all these derivations and you can perform them very easily. Now we want to study the power factor. That means we have to study the instantaneous power P supplied by the source. And power is very simple because if you know the voltage, you know the current, you can always write on P is equal to IV. So V is having the value Vm sin omega t because we need not do anything in this. So I'm writing it first. And I is equal to Im sin omega t plus phi. Phi is the phase difference. So this is the power. So we can again write down power as, because Im is constant, Vm is constant. So we can write on as Vm Im. Now we have sin omega t plus phi. So this is sin A sin B. So 2 sin A sin B is given by cos A plus B by 2 minus cos A minus B by 2. So using this trigonometric formula, we have this is equal to upon 2. Then we have cos of A minus B by 2. So this is omega t minus phi by 2. So we will have cos phi here and this is minus A plus B. So by 2 we have already taken common. So cos A plus B by 2. So this is omega t plus omega t. So this becomes 2 omega t plus phi. So this we have written simply using a trigonometric formula. So we get P is equal to Vm Im upon 2 cos phi. Because the average power over a cycle is given by the average of two terms. So we take the average of two terms. So this power may be written as, we divide this 2 into two parts, Vm upon root 2 and Im upon root 2. So this is one and the same thing because we have broken this 2 into two parts, under root 2 and under root 2. So this may be easily written in this form. And then cos of phi. Or we can write on P is equal to Vi cos phi. This again because P is equal to I square R. So we can also write down in the form of I square R because V is equal to IR. So instead of R we have impedance. So this is I squared Z cos phi. Because Z always walks here in the form of resistance. So the average dissipated power from this equation, we can say that the average power dissipated depends on V and I and also the cos of the phase angle between them. So this cos phi is known as the power factor. So mind this thing that we have P is equal to I square R. So here we will have P is equal to I square Z cos phi. And this cos phi is the power factor. Now we can take different cases. In the first case, if we have only resistance in the circuit, then it is known as resistive circuit. The only component in the circuit is resistance. So this resistive circuit, so we have in the impedance we have only Z. In place of Z we have only R. And for R, the V and I are in the same phase. That means the phase difference is 0 because we have done this in the lecture of alternating current lecture. If you want to go that what happens if we apply the alternating current to a simply resistive circuit, then you can refer to the lecture. The link is given below. But for now you can remember that whenever we are having only resistance in the circuit to a AC voltage source, then the voltage and current are in the same phase. That means the phase difference phi is equal to 0. And if phi is 0, that implies cos phi is equal to 1 because cos 0 is 1. So there is a maximum power dissipation because cos have maximum value of 1. So if this is 1, that means the power dissipated I squared Z will be maximum. So there is maximum power dissipation. Now second case, if we have purely inductive or purely capacitive circuit, that means we have only L or we have only C. So we call it as a purely inductive circuit or purely capacitive circuit. So if we are having pure inductive or capacitive circuit, that means either we will have L or we will have C. This is purely inductive and this is purely capacitive. So when we have inductor, then we know that the phase difference phi, then I is lagging behind V, and if you are having capacitor, then I is leading behind V by the phase difference of pi by 2. So either we have the inductive circuit or we have the capacitive circuit. The phase difference is only pi by 2. Either the current is lagging behind or the current is leading behind the voltage, but the phase difference is always pi by 2. And if the phi is pi by 2, that implies cos of phi, that is cos of pi by 2 is always 0. So that means the value of P, this cos phi will become 0. So the value of P becomes 0. That means no power is dissipated from the circuit even though the current I is flowing in the circuit. Then there is no power dissipated in the circuit. So no power dissipated from the circuit, although the current is flowing from the circuit. So this circuit is called as heatless circuit because no power is dissipated in the form of heat. So this circuit is known as heatless circuit. So which circuit is heatless circuit? That whenever you are having a purely capacitive or purely inductive circuit, then it is a heatless circuit. So we have considered if we have only pure resistor or we have only pure inductor or pure capacitor in the alternating current voltage circuit. But what happens if we have a combination of all these three? If we are having the resistance, we are having the inductor and we are having the capacitor, then we call it as a LCR circuit, and these three are connected in the series. So that we call as a LCR series circuit. This we have done in the chapter of alternating current. So if you want to go to the detail, you can refer to my lecture, link is given below. But for now, you can remember that if you are using any LCR series circuit, that is the inductor, capacitor and resistance are connected in series, then the power dissipated is given by, we have just calculated P is equal to VI cos phi. This is for the LCR series circuit. So P is equal to VI cos phi. And here this phase difference phi is given by tan inverse of Xc minus XL upon R. This is capacitive resistance minus inductive resistance divided with the resistor. So phi is not equal to 0 in any of the case in either RL or RC or LCR circuit. So phi is not equal to 0 in RL or RC or LCR circuit. So for this LCR series circuit, we take the condition of resonance. So whenever we are having the condition of resonance in LCR circuit, then that means that in the condition of resonance, Xc is equal to XL. And if Xc is equal to XL, then from this equation, if we put Xc minus XL is equal to 0, that means the phi is always 0. And if we put phi is equal to 0 here, P is equal to I square z cos phi, then phi is 0, that means cos 0 is 1, then the power dissipated is maximum, P is equal to I square z. So cos phi is equal to 1 because cos 0 is 1, and the power dissipated is maximum, P is equal to I square z multiplied with 1, or this is equal to I square R because Xc and XL are same, so Xc minus XL will become 0. So the maximum power is dissipated from the circuit. So at the condition of resonance, there is maximum power dissipation. But this phi is not equal to 0 if you are having a combination, like if you are having an RL circuit, or if you are having a RC circuit, or if you are having LCR circuit without the condition of resonance, then this phi is not equal to 0. So in this way we can calculate what is the power factor, and we can calculate how much power it dissipated for a purely resistive circuit, for a purely inductive or purely capacitive circuit, or LCR circuit without the condition of resonance and in the condition of resonance. So hope all these small quantities related to resonance are very much clear to you. So that's all for today. Keep on liking, keep on sharing, keep on commenting for new such lectures, and please subscribe to our channel Physics Class. Keep coming and keep asking your queries. Thank you so much.